All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So this one's a little bit of a funny topic for sure, but you know what? It's Friday. I was thinking about this last night. The New York Jets need to address the kicking position. Now, news came out from rookie minicamp that they already moved on from undrafted free agent Will Ferrin from BYU. Supposedly, he missed a couple of kicks in the rookie minicamp sessions, and they cut him, leaving Cade York on the roster. Now, Cade York, up to this point, hasn't really been that franchise kicker, if you will. I remember him back at LSU. He definitely has a strong leg, but I think a lot of Jets fans are looking at that kicking position and not only saying, hey, we can upgrade there, but where's the competition? Now, of course, it's May. It is what it is. They're probably going to be bringing in another kicker at some point. God, I would hope so, before training camp rolls around. And we're going to talk about some free agent options here in just a second. But I just wanted to rattle off some quick numbers. So the Jets last season scored a total of 300 points, averaging just over 17 points per game, which obviously is not good. Right, but then if we factor in our guy Nick Folk, right, Nicholas Folk, how many points did he account for this Jets team in 2025? 106. So Nick Folk accounted for over a third of the New York Jets' total points, and he was not brought back. Now, I somewhat understand it from Muji's perspective because of the deal that Nick Folk signed. I mean, it was huge. It was a huge deal. So if you're Muji and you're coming off a 3-win season and you have a bunch of team needs and a bunch of depth issues, virtually was like every backup player or first player up off of the bench was like a practice squad caliber guy. You know, there's a lot of yes, there's a lot of cap space. Yes, there's a lot of draft picks, but there's a lot of issues that you need to solve as the general manager of this football team. I can understand not giving Nick Folk this, this enormous deal for the kicking position, but you got to follow it up with something good. You cannot pull a JD and just let someone like this go, someone who accounted for, again, a third of your total points, and say, we'll be fine there. No, unless Cade York blows you away and he is absolutely amazing in training camp, absolutely amazing in preseason, or even if Lenny Craig goes out and shocks some people, but Craig didn't have any regular season experience this past season. So I do want to add competition. I don't think competition hurts at all. In a season where Glenn needs wins, in a season where Geno Smith doesn't have a lot of time left, right? He's playing for the future of his career. How long will Frank Reich be here? I mean, there's so many questions surrounding this team. There's a lot of pressure on this team to, I would say, more than double their win total. You cannot let wins slip through your fingertips because of the kicker. Again, it's unacceptable. There's no point to get stressed out about it now because the games aren't played and the offseason, of course, is still going. It's still going on, right? So with that said, let's take a look at some free agent kickers. Unfortunately, there's not really a ton out there, but the first player I want to talk about is Gano from the New York Giants. He went 9 for 10 from field goals with 150-yarder, and he was also perfect with extra points, going 9 for 9. We also have Daniel Carlson, who was 22 of 27 from field goals. Perfect within 40 yards, and then as far as extra points were concerned, 21 out of 22. And then a player that I am intrigued with is Brandon McManus, who's recently released from Green Bay, right? Darren Muji has the connection with him, but last season he was 24 of 30 from field goals made. Again, perfect from within 40 yards. And then for extra points, 32 out of 33. We could also bring up Matt Prater, but he's going to be 42 this upcoming season. I don't necessarily know if he's going to want to sign on to the Jets, but we'll see what happens there. But I would say maybe one of those three, if news comes out today, tomorrow, a month from now, that we're bringing in McManus on a 1-year contract, or we're going to be trying, we're bringing in, a Gano or a Carlson for a workout. I am not going to complain whatsoever. I'm looking at Cade, and it's no shot at Cade York by no means. I mean, he could be a great kicker for us. Kicker seems like a pretty volatile position. Guys get really good out of nowhere. Guys fall off out of nowhere. Who knows, right? Nick Folk seems to be on his last leg. So again, I understand it from Darren Bouger's perspective if he doesn't want to hand out that type of contract and wants to just roll the dice. But you can't let someone like that, who is responsible for over a third of your points, walk out the door and replace that player with a potential liability, or at the very least just shrugging your shoulders saying, I hope we have an answer. Hopefully this team has a competent kicker. It needs to be ironed out. It needs to be figured out before the regular season. So I'm gonna leave it there. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Which out of the, or do you wait until teams start making training camp cuts and you pick up a young one, right? Like we had Harrison Mevis last season and he ends up signing with the Kansas City Chiefs, and was actually a contributing player for that team. So, anything could happen. You can fix this position pretty quickly, but I would much rather try to get ahead of it than sit on your hands and not do a whole lot and just kind of wait around. So thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts. And as always, go Jets.